I've had the experience, like many of you perhaps, of being alone in the wilderness at night, awestruck as the arc of heaven swirled overhead. The crisp, cold mountain air amplified the stars, while I, a tiny speck on a scree slope, seemed more and more insignificant. And yet, to experience the wonder and the beauty of those moments, to participate in the cosmic dance, if only as an observer, in relationship with all that exists, was a profound embodied experience. I was no longer a separate self struggling for survival, but part of the fabric of creation. I felt whole, for a moment escaping from the illusion of my tiny separateness. When we are granted these special moments of insight, our shells are broken, and we can't quite get back into our old ways of thinking and being. Though most of our bad habits do return, there remains an openness to other possibilities, a liberation of sorts from our previous truisms about ourselves and the world. In his novel, This Earth of Mankind, Indonesian author Pramoedya Anantatower follows Minky, his protagonist, as he makes himself useful to the Dutch colonizers, much like a young Alexander Hamilton. What struck me was not the story, which I enjoyed, but how Minky's consciousness changed throughout the book. Minky was an outsider absorbed into a bubble, a lived truth, the worldview of his colonizers, who came to see its contradictions and escape them. We experience our lives through a lens which becomes our lived truth. Family, school, community, and employment experiences tend to reinforce the agreed upon narrative, and we internalize it and embody it, spreading it like a virus. As we begin thinking critically on our own, we sometimes escape parts of it, but other internalized aspects may be hidden. Sometimes an experience that cracks one lived truth opens the way for another to replace it. Like many, I struggle with this virus. I was a member of the Unification Church, a Messianic movement, for 6 years. I learned that once a narrative resonates with life experience, is accepted, reinforced by community, and filters our perceptions of reality, it becomes a lived truth. A lived truth is powerful and resilient. It fights for survival. When it encounters opposing viewpoints, facts that don't fit, it rationalizes and justifies the discrepancy, often become more virulent in its fight for survival as it projects its shadow onto the outside world. In a world of multiple narratives, we need to have compassion, both with ourselves and others, as we, individually and collectively, sort through our own stories, look at our own shadows, and seek a shared understanding, not so much of beliefs, but of the experience of others that shape their beliefs. A lived reality that counters false narratives is the only cure, and in listening to others, we come to better understand our own impact and move towards a more just, inclusive world, one where all stories are listened to, heard, and respected.